Ginger. Okay, guys, this is ALG 103 Seller Success. You know, I just realized that we didn't finish 102 last week, just because there are a ton of slides that are in these. And we kind of got held up just going through some things a little bit deeper in the woods. But you can go on stepaheadrealestatetraining.com and the full class is in there. And of course, anybody that wants to take these classes are more than welcome to. Let's go ahead and get started. We are talking about today seller success. Last week we went over prospecting success. And as I said, we only got to expired listings. So if anybody wants to go in and get that deep dive on all of those things, please do so. So let's talk about your business today. What percentage of your business is listings based? And we actually just finished this from in the Step Ahead boot camp class. We were talking about how important it is to have a listings based business. Your number should be over that 75% mark. You really want to have 3/4 of your business be listings to maybe 1/4 or less being buyers. Most realtors, the big majority, are going to be down in that second box, 1 to 25% of listings. Some of them won't even have any listings because they're afraid of them. And they have a business that's not sustainable as far as for having consistent income because buyers come and go. So where do you want to be? Your opportunity to more profitability. 27% of sellers recommend their agent 4 more times since selling their home. That's why it's so important to stay in touch with them. 85% of sellers said they would definitely or probably recommend their agent for future services. Top agents make it their goal to get 2 or more closed transactions from each listing by using open houses, farming, social media. See if I can get rid of that. There we go. And more to generate buyer and seller leads. Using listings is one of the most powerful things that you can do to build your business. Many realtors don't do it. I want you guys to be among the top realtors out there that take their listings and use them for what their number one thing is. Well, the number one thing, obviously, is to give you consistent income. What's the number 2 thing? They are the best promotional materials out there. I'd rather have a listing than a billboard. And it's the truth. Working with buyers and working with sellers, and I apologize for those of you that were in the last class because this is going to be repetitive, but it's an important point over and over and over to hear. When you work with buyers, you're at the mercy of their schedule. Now, this has changed. It used to be that they didn't have a signed agreement. They do have a signed agreement now, but the truth is they can fire you at any time. They're nowhere near as binding as a listing agreement. Sellers, you're more in control of your schedule. They signed a listing agreement, which guess what? They can't get out of if you don't let them out of it. Unless you did a chicken out clause or whatever else. They're stuck with you for 6 months. They may ask you to take it off the market, but they can't go list it with somebody else. So most of the time they won't. They'll just let it go. For buyers, you have to assume 2 to 3 hours every time you show houses. You can work with maybe 2, possibly 3 buyers in a day. Has anybody ever worked with 3 buyers in a day? I've worked with 2. I can tell you this, you're exhausted by the time you're done. You've been in the car for 2 hours, up, down, back, forth. Sometimes you're going in a cold, damp house. Going back to my New Jersey days. Yeah, right. Your emotions are going up and down. Maybe this will be the one. Yeah. Sellers, assuming your systems are in place the way we teach you to effectively manage listings, You can carry a significantly larger number of listings at once. When I first got in this business, to show you how different times are, 12 years ago, we were teaching realtors to be successful, they should have 26 listings at any given time. That should be their minimum number. Right now, I would tell you if you had a number of 2 to 3, you're in a great place. There's a couple of reasons for this. The market's completely different now than it was then. The housing prices are quadruple of where when I started, 3 times anyway. But you can have, I know a guy that had 350 listings at one time. And he managed them.
Lucky guy.
No, he was a worker. He was a 3 hours on the phone every day guy.
Yeah.
Still is. His son's now doing real estate with him. Now they want to talk about lucky kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of his stuff, he had some lots and stuff like that. They weren't all beautiful homes, but he had over 350 listings at one point. Even now, in the market being different, he still has close to 100 listings. It's just because that's what he does, and he knows, and he has that business and the referral business that we just talked about. So you can could you imagine if you had 350 buyers all at one time? Wait a second. Can you imagine if you had 10 buyers at a time? Can't do it. The seller path to profitability.
It's a good problem.
It's a good problem, but yeah. The seller path to profitability. Pre-qualify, pre-listing packet, listing conversation. I stole this graphic from Century 21. We don't use the word conversation in this office or I'll chop your tongue off. All right. Marketing the listing, servicing the seller, contract to close, and having a client for life. I just hit the wrong button, sorry. Okay. Get permission to ask questions. You want to gather as much information from people as you can. What do I always say for you guys that took Step Ahead Boot Camp last year? What do I always say? Find out what they're committed to, right? There's what we're learning. Not just the level of commitment, but also what it is they're committed to. Where do you want to move? Why do you want to move there? When do you want to move there? What's the story behind that? Right. Pre-qualify the seller leads. What's their motivation, right? Are they motivated? Or they just want to get the top price for their house? They just want to get the top price for their house. Guess what? They're not going to be a great client because if they price it wrong, you're gonna have a headache. If they say they want to be moved to a certain place by a certain time, guess what you got? You got a great client. The ability, is there anything hindering them? Sometimes you'll have somebody come to you and call and say, hey, we want to get a free market evaluation. I saw you offered one. Great. Everything's good. Yeah, we're going to sell our house, this, that, whatever. You know what they didn't tell you? We're going to sell our house when I retire at the end of 2027. Doesn't mean you won't get a client out of it, but you're not going to get a client today. So it's important to know these things, pre-qualifying them. Have they had experience selling a house before? What's the property condition in? Let's talk about the price, and we're going to be realistic. Remember that question I always teach you, and I'll teach you again. I teach you in other classes. I'll teach you again here. If somebody's trying to be unrealistic about the price, ask them a question. What's more important to you? Getting this high price or getting the house sold? Because you can't have both. If they say hey, getting the price, and we don't care if it takes 5 years, at least you know what you're dealing with, and we can get a strategy based on that. Most people are going to say, well, no, I really need to be moved by and give you a time. And then you say, well, in order to do that, we need to be priced correctly. And you can talk them off that ledge. So here's some questions. Why are you selling? Where are you moving? You might be able to get a buy out of this. How soon do you need to be there? And there it is. What's most important to you? Getting your price or getting it sold? Or having an easy transaction? You could add that one too. How much? So here's a weird game that people play. You might have a phone conversation with somebody that you've never met before, or it may be somebody you have met before. And they say to you, you say to them, have you looked about what you're thinking about selling the house for? Well, we want you to tell us that. Okay, what is Price is Right? $1, anybody ever watch The Price is Right? There you go. Okay, yep. Bob Barker back in the day. Who's it now? Drew Carey? Yeah, okay. That's what you feel like they're playing some kind of guessing game with you. Well, we want to see what you say before I tell you what I think. Why? We're on the same team. We're trying to get this thing sold, but whatever. So one of the things I taught you guys in the preceding course was that you want to have a general idea what they want to get for the house, or at least if there's any barriers. There's a couple ways that you can do this. One is, hey, how much do you owe on the property? We owe $350,000. Oh, good. Then ask another off the subject question. Then come back. How much money are you trying to net from this? How much do you want to walk away from this? And they say $100,000, right? So now what do we know? 350 they owe, 450 they need 100. They probably need to sell it for close to 500 with closing costs, right? Now we got a pretty good idea for this. You want another question you can ask? Hey, I saw that, and you know the answer to this, but you want to make sure they know the answer to this. Hey, you saw the house that's similar to yours sold around the corner. Did you hear how much that sold for? If they say no, how much, and you tell them, which would be hopefully a realistic price for their house. Or they might say, yeah, it sold for $500,000. Yeah. And now you got a baseline to be in the ballpark. How much of the proceeds from this home do you plan to use for your next home? I already said that one, sorry. But that you can see this is the pattern to try to get these people to tell you what it is that they're really trying to do, because a lot of times they don't want to tell you. Have you ever sold a home before? You ever been part of this process? A lot of people haven't. It's their first time. If they have, what did you like best and least about that experience? Find out their triggers, what they're looking for. Make sure they know what their expectations and you are. Make sure those expectations are realistic. Property conditions. This is a brutal one. I think most of you heard this story, but I had a listing about, thank God it was during the boom and you could sell anything. I listed a house for about $30,000 more than I thought it was going to sell for, and then it sold for $10,000 more than that. God bless 2020. I went in the house, and I'm a dog person, guys. I love my dogs. I always love my dogs. House stunk of dogs. There were baseboards all ripped up, teeth marks on the baseboards. And then you went in the master bedroom. I thought I was on death row or in a prison. Crate. Oh, and they were big dogs. I don't know what they were. They weren't Danes and they weren't Mastiffs, but they were big like that. Yeah. And they were just sitting there because they had them crated for when people would, and I'm like, this is what people are going to see. Fortunately, I was able, and I say all this to say you've got to be sensitive. If you come in my house and insult my dog, I'd rather you insult my mother. I mean, no, I don't mean that. Oh God, I hope my parents aren't watching this. They sometimes jump on YouTube. Anyway, I'm only kidding. But the point is, you get my point. Some people love their dogs more than their own kids. You gotta be careful. Some people, we don't have kids, so my dogs are my kids. You know what I mean? My point is that you got to be careful you don't offend somebody. I was able to, in that situation, convince them the door, this is perfect. And for you guys can't see me, I'm sorry on here, but the door was like here on my right. And when you walked in, death row was here. So what I convinced them to do was redo the bedrooms. The death row was here on the right. So when you walked in the door, I wasn't seeing 8 pairs of sad puppy eyes looking up at me and like, oh, those poor dogs. I was seeing the room. Yeah. So my first impression was the room. Now, you couldn't stop it once I came in. And you couldn't ask, and this is where you guys have to use your judgment. Are you going to ask every time that somebody comes to see the house that they put 4 200-pound dogs in a car and get the heck out of the house? You could take a poodle to Starbucks. You're not going to take 8 whatever to wherever. So again, you got to be thinking this through. You got to be using your brain, and you've got to be willing to gingerly suggest improvements and solutions. Right. One of the things that I have in my seller packet, and I know Jerica, I believe, Jerica, you have this now, is seller tips, showing tips. I had a nice showing tip one that I put out, but I'll be honest with you, I don't remember if it was Caitlin from our company. Somebody put one out from Century 21 Integra. It might also be for you guys with the Coldwell Banker brand too. It was a great, I was like, man, well, she blew mine out of the water. It was way better than mine. I'm the first one to admit it. Use one of them, create your own. One of the things that you're going to do on there, and one of the things you can suggest, which I suggested, again, I was trying to be very careful. I got them to move the dog crates. I also suggested that they open the blinds, because it was kind of a dark house, and that they light candles before they go out. Try to get rid of the stench of those big dogs. Be careful how you say it, is my point. Ask them also, have they made any upgrades? Have they remodeled the kitchen? This is going to help you with the price. If you know a neighborhood, and you guys will know these neighborhoods inside and out, I'm sure some of you already know the neighborhoods you work in, right? And you have houses that were built in the 80s, right? Or 70s, doesn't matter, or earlier. And you know that most of those houses that have been on the market all have had beautiful granite updated kitchens. Does this house have one? If it doesn't have one, I can't sell it for the same $400,000 as the guy that has a new kitchen.
Right.
I've got to have some leeway in there in that price, because they're going to want to, it's not par for par. It's not, and that's what I always tell people, is the house up to par with others? Doesn't it be better, but it can't be worse. That's why we do a range when we go in. We taught you guys that, and we'll teach you more of that in the pricing conversation, of having that range. The house shows well, you go to the top. The house shows poorly, you go to the bottom, or anywhere in between. This is a great one, especially, I like this one when you're there. And this is a great one to ask when you're touring the house. If you have both the husband and wife with you, which you should, all decision makers should always be with you. Again, we already taught that in the basic classes here. Do you have a favorite? What's your favorite part of the house? The person that you have the best rapport with is going to be the one that's going to answer. We know that. Ask the other one, right? So if the wife says it's my sewing room, I'm going to be stereotypical here and take a little bit of a guess that the husband's probably not going to also think the sewing room's his favorite room. Just throwing that out there. Ask, get them both talking, but find out what their favorite features are in the house. Sometimes those things are personal, like a sewing room, right? Is a potential buyer going to care about that? No. What's your favorite part of the house? Oh, that I have a chef's kitchen with the chef's hood. Guess what? When you go to show that house, or you go to write your romance paragraph about that house, that's something that's going to sell to somebody. I'd buy a house for that. I love to cook, although now I cook outside now.
Yeah. Outside kitchens are nice.
I built my own.
Did you?
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I got a 5-burner Weber in there, and oh yeah. I do pizza out there. I mean, I don't do anything in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
Anyway, price. Again, if you've not taken the pricing conversation, that's Objection Handling Success, OHS 103. We do that class purposefully in both Step Ahead Bootcamp and this program, Step Ahead for Life. So we'll have this one coming up in this series as well. If you'd like to take it before, it is on stepaheadrealestatetraining.com, and you're welcome to take it. It is one of the most important classes I teach after you've gone and gotten a client and are having listing appointments, because you want to have the house priced right. Again, they're going to play games with you. We kind of went through this, but what are you hoping to get for the property? Find out. Ask them, how did you come up with that number? Well, that's what I need to get to have the money in my pocket and pay off all my bills. Okay. What does that have to do with anything? I was just joking with the gal I had a meeting with 10:30 this morning. I said, yeah, and I've got a 1972 Pinto, and I'd like to sell it for $1 million. Anybody, half of you guys probably don't even know what a Pinto is. It was an old car, like back before I was born. that were junk. They were junk from the day they were new. Yeah, I want to get $1 million for it. Is anybody going to be stupid enough to give me $1 million for it? Because what's it worth? What do you think a 1970 Pinto's worth today? $300? I doubt it. It's whatever you can scrap the metal, right? But that's the way people think, and you've got to get them off of that. And as we talked about, and we talk about in that course, we're just doing quick here. Get them on a simple math equation. The price of a house is a simple math equation. One of the things I like to do, and I've had this conversation when I do a lot of one-on-one conversations with you guys, and I'll say this: if you wanted to buy a new car and you were trading your car in, and you went into the car dealership and they told you what it was worth, how do they back up that price? Right? Now they're going to try and screw you. I'm not trying to tell you that whatever. But what's the legitimate price of your car worth? Anybody ever heard of the Kelly Blue Book?
Right.
NADA? What's the third one? I'm missing one. It doesn't matter. Point is that those books, or I don't know how many guys are on here, whatever. When I was a kid, I collected baseball cards. There was a little monthly book that came out. It was a little magazine that you could look up. Oh, look, Mike Schmidt's rookie's worth $400.
Yeah.
Right? It was the law. It was the rule. It's a negotiated item, just like anything's negotiated. But that was what it was worth. Guess what you guys are? And this is how I explain it to clients and tell you guys to explain it to clients. You're the Kelly Blue Book of houses. That's why it's so important in your listing conversation. We talked about this, again, in other classes, but I'm going to bring it up again, is that you guys go in and tout yourselves as experts. If you're concerned because maybe you're a little bit new, I also sat with my broker and got a broker's price opinion. I called a appraisal company and asked if they'd done any appraisals in the area. We all came to the fact that your house is worth $500,000. Verify, 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 and make yourself the Kelly Blue Book. Yeah, I'd love for you to get $20,000 for that 1970 Pinto on a trade-in, but you're going to get $100, maybe, right? This is how you have to break it down. Using analogies, and this is one of the big things that I really teach in this more advanced series, the Step Ed for Life. The more you guys can tell stories that like this, like comparing it to a car, comparing it to anything that you guys are comfortable with and feel like your clients will be comfortable with. Like in the objection handling, we do the fishing technique. Hey, if you're out in your little rowboat with one line and a commercial net's next to you, who's going to get more fish? The guy with the net, not the guy with the pole. Anytime you can tell stories like this and get people to see, all of a sudden it's like, it's logic. It's logic. If I look up my car in the Kelly Blue Book and it says it's worth $10,000, would I expect to go to the dealership and be given $15,000? No. I also wouldn't expect to be given 8. I'd expect to be given 10, give or take with a little. I have more miles on it, I have less miles on it, it's good condition, whatever. All right. Schedule the appointment and set expectations. The biggest complaint I get as a broker, and if you talk to any of your brokers, for you guys that are on here that are in different offices, if you talk to any broker from any company that's out there, it's worth a salt. Some of them never talk to anybody. But if you ask them what the biggest complaint they get is my agent took my listing and I never heard from him again until it was time to renew. Or if there was a showing or, whatever. That's what they do. So it's important that you set expectations, right? And that they feel communicated with throughout. So let's start from the beginning of this. The first thing you want to do is schedule an appointment. I teach this in script mastery and in a couple classes, but this is, we're going to go through it here. Never give someone a question that they can say no to. Can we meet tomorrow at 10 a.m.? No, I have a doctor's appointment. You just got shot out.
What's the best time for you?
Nope.
No.
Power of choice. Best time it works for me, I don't know. I'll have to look at my schedule.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is better for you, Tuesday or Thursday? I didn't give you a choice to say no. I told you to pick Tuesday or Thursday.
Right.
What's better for you, 10 a.m. or 2 p.m.? Now, you might come back and say, well, actually, can you do 4? Of course, but I still got the appointment.
Right. You got it.
Okay.
You got it.
Power of choice closes, and I've got to give some good credit over here to Jerica. When we did last week in Conversation Mastery, You did that very naturally. Do you even know you did it? When we got to the end, you were, yeah, I don't know about that, but anyway, no, thank you. When you got to the end, you immediately, without even thinking, gave me two choices. And I picked one. I wasn't going to screw with you because that's the way it works. And that does work. People won't screw with you. If you say, can I come see the house at 2 o'clock today? No, I got to pick up my kid from school. No, I got to pick my nose. No, they're going to come up with any excuse they can. Give them a power of choice. There's no, which is better, Tuesday or Thursday? No. What do you mean no?
Yeah.
I didn't give you a yes or no question.
Right.
Never give me a yes or no question.
Right.
Here's another important one. Aside from yourself, is there any other people that are on the deed of the house, decision makers? They all have to be there. Make sure they're present. If they're not, reschedule. I look forward to meeting you Tuesday at 10 a.m. We're going to tour the home. Again, give them expectations. Review the CMA, cover costs, review your marketing plan and everything else. I'm going to send you some information that's going to speed up our meeting and help you make an informed decision. That's your pre-listing packet. Jericho's now is a beautiful one. I know you've been working really hard on that. I don't know how, I haven't seen everybody else's, but for you guys that have these, if you don't have them, start building them. One of the things I have in mind is that 4-step marketing program that I can't seem to print. But that's an important part of it because people see us ahead of time like, wow, this guy really, right? He doesn't just come in and say, I'm going to put your house in the MLS, Zillow, and Facebook. And that's my marketing plan, and I'm done in 30 seconds. It's thought out. The showing tips are thought out. The bio, it's thought out. So have those things. How would you like me to send this information? What do they, maybe there's somebody that doesn't use email. I just saw somebody yesterday. Where was I yesterday? And a guy said, yeah, I don't have email. I don't have email, he said. I'm like, what? He didn't have email.
He got a text.
No, he didn't have a text. He wanted physical things put in his hand. And I said, okay, that's fine, do it. Do you have any questions for me? Take a second. If they're going to have an objection and you can get it over the phone before you meet them in person, and I have overnight or whatever to deal with it, get it from them. All right. Spotlight your business. How often do you send your seller leads what we just talked about, the pre-listing packet? The correct answer should be every time. I keep 5 copies of pre-listing packets in my car for buyers and for sellers at all times. All times they're on me. They're actually in my bag. And why? Because you never know. You might be at a sporting event. If you guys have kids, you might be at your kid's baseball game. You could be anywhere, and you never know when you're going to find somebody. You can pull out and give them this professional thing. One of the biggest places I meet people are the grocery store. I meet people there all the time, right? Restaurants, coffee shops, always have this stuff with you and ready to hand to somebody. Schedule the appointment, hand it to them. Just like I always say to you guys, this is not on this slide, but I'm going to say it anyway. Always have everything with you to go do a buyer's appointment or a seller's appointment at all times. So wherever you are, boom, you can jump right into real estate mode. Previewing your value. You don't want to be exhausted to the point where people don't read it. You want to be thorough though, but make it efficient, make it informative, make it easy, and make it fast. Gather your tools. So one of the things that, I have on mine, if you guys haven't seen mine, I can't print it, but I can pop it up and show you guys, anybody that's on here. And if you go on to any of the classes, you'll see this in there, my pre-listing packet. I have my picture on the front with the Century 21 Integra logo. I have my biography. That's the second thing. Actually, it's not the second thing. The first thing I have is a welcome letter. I'm delighted for the opportunity to explore selling your house or, help you to buy a house. Boom, 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 couple of paragraphs. Then I have the background about me, right? Talk about myself, my biography, my whatever else, my designations. I have something about getting on my website. Yes. No, I thought somebody asked something. Testimonials, if you have them. Your success metrics. These are all things you can have on there. A little bit about the brokerage, about the market, and then about your marketing plan, which should be, again, I use that program. And then about the listing. Property disclosure, making sure you get that filled out. but more important, going through what that house is worth. And then all the things you're going to do. See, there's your marketing plan, your cover page, your professional photos, staging, open houses, postcards, email blasts, MLS. Now, you don't need all this in the pre-listing packet, but these are all the things that you want to at least touch on that you do. It shows that you're well thought out, well planned, and are going to market their house. People want their house sold quickly and for top dollar, and they want a tough negotiator. This is a question that people don't realize, especially when they're new. Somebody might ask you, what's your average list to sell ratio? Told you guys about Helen. I don't know if she's on here today. She's whatever. Helen has not taken a listing, nor Josh Allen, not the quarterback that won yesterday. Two people that work for me in New Jersey, both have streaks, one back from 2015 and one 2016. They're 100%. Every house they sell. And that's not what this is saying here. Sorry. See, I told you it's my first time teaching this, but that they can tell you that they've sold 100% of their listings. What this is, average list to sell, is what the list price was to what the sale price was.
In your opinion, what is a good rebuttal to a client that, being that we're new and we don't have any sales under our belt, and somebody says, hey, well, how many houses have you sold? You don't
Use office statistics.
Okay.
We did $2 billion in business last year.
We did 2.5 million this year and 5,842 houses were sold.
This office. That's this office.
Yeah, they put it up on social media.
Yeah, that's just this office.
Yeah.
Okay. No, just this office. We did 2 billion. We did $2 billion. Maybe that was Florida.
That's a,
That doesn't matter. Let's not do that now because we're on film here. All right. But we get those statistics and get them from Barbara, and you'll have them. Yes. Whichever. All right. The end game. Sorry, I'm so good with names. See why I teach and don't do real estate? Oh, hello, Mr. Frank. No, my name's Mr. Smith. Oh, whatever.
Great teacher.
All right. Listings price to sell. Why is that important? It shows that you price the house right and that you protect the value of the house. Comparable property checklist. These are the houses that I used. You try to be as close in the neighborhood, especially for any of you that are in Florida or in areas like Florida, the Carolinas, and some places. There can be a vast difference between two neighborhoods that are right next to each other. So it'll tell you, like in New Jersey, it'll tell you to be within a mile. In a mile, in many places, it's not much of a difference. You could go a mile away, the prices are going to be about the same. It's just the way, it's a whole different deal. Here, the difference, I always use my neighborhood. I live at an airport, right? If you're not in my airport, your house, there's no comparing. Right? There's no comparing. Because if you're a pilot, you're willing to do whatever.
Yeah.
So, and again, you can have two just regular neighborhoods next to each other, and they're just completely different. So being in the same subdivision with the same builder and the same whatever is going, when possible, is the best thing to do. How many houses sold in the last 90 days? What was the price? That shows what the market price will bear. How many active listings are there now? So if 6 houses sold in the last 90 days, and there's 8 houses for sale now, what does that mean? We've got more inventory than what's selling. What does that mean? In order to sell it, we need to be really competitive in our price, probably underprice some of the other houses. Let's go the other way. Let's say there's 6 houses sold in the last 6 months. There's only 3 available now. What does that say? There's not enough inventory. We can set the price where we want. These are things, guys, that you need to be paying attention to and be able to speak to. When you speak to just what I said in front of your client's going to think you're a genius in most cases. Because most realtors don't even think this way. I can, yeah. Off-market listings. Show the mistakes other agents have made and why their listings didn't sell. Look, this house was listed for $525,000. It sat on the market for 9 months. Now it's off the market. Why? Well, houses here sell for $500,000, not $525,000. It takes that expectation off. Well, I wanted to list for $525,000 because that's all they did. Yeah, they did, and they didn't sell. Are you willing to waste the next 9 months to a year sitting on the market and it probably not selling. And we don't know what's going to happen. What if the market drops? The 500 I could get you today could become 490. That just happened on a listing I had. I had a listing and the guy wouldn't budge on the price. He was close when I listed it. 6 months later, the house had dropped $20,000 in value. Now he's stuck. There it is, priced to sell houses. You can see one of the things that you can do is create a chart like this. How long did it take to sell? When did it sell? Days on market is a huge thing. You could tell when I wrote this, houses were going quickly. 5 days, 11 days, 20 days, 25 days. Square footage. But these are things that if you show people, especially when you have somebody that's a numbers-driven person, shows that you know the market. Learn to do these things, guys. Analyze and adjust. So you can put their price there. Put your comps here. What makes it better? Veneer cabinets, basic appliances. Wait a minute. Solid wood cabinets, high-end appliances. There's a $4,000 change. Show that you're taking that into consideration. Determining a price range. I know we all use RPR. We use our Moxie tool, Moxie Present, and whatever, and it does this for you. But again, it's going to create a chart that looks like this. Excuse me. Look at these, and you can see. What I like about this example, right, is you got 550 to 650. Why do I like that example? Because how many of you have been true to life where you've got to do one of these and you have $100,000 range? And like, my God, what is it? So if somebody came, guys, what price would you say their house should be? Because they're going to, what are they going to tell you their house should sell for if you show them this?
Oh, they're going to say 650.
Of course they're going to say 650, right? Absolutely right. That 550, you might as well just black it out because they're going to pretend like it's not there. But what's the truth about the 650 in your house?
Well, their house is brand new.
Yeah,
It's newer.
it's nowhere, right?
Okay.
Has more bedrooms and baths.
And, right? More square feet.
Yeah.
Now, you want to just do a square foot based off of that? Whoa. Let's hold off. Look at example comp 2. Comp 2 has 4,175 square feet. Your property only is 3,767, and that only sold for what? 590.
But it needed a new roof.
But it's active. Needs a new roof and AC. But how much do we pop into that? See, all of these things, guys, are things you have to take into consideration and teach. You have to educate your clients so they make the decision that's right.
Yeah, all they're going to see is the number. They're going to be tunnel vision right into it.
Correct. These are the conversations, again, that advanced realtors know how to do. And that by having these conversations, going through these things, we get our listings right. Again, the whole part of Step Ahead for Life, you guys are making $100,000 a year. At least you should be. If you don't have to be, but that's who this class was written for. People that are making 100 grand a year or more. We want to get you $500,000 to $1 million a year. These are the conversations that the agents that are making 500 to $1 million, they're digging deeper. 98% of the agents that are out there don't understand this. They've never even been taught this. And they just go in with the little range, the little basic range, which everybody does when they start. We say, hey, just do the RPR report, get the listing. But as you go and you get bigger into this and get better into this, these are the things you need to dig in and identify, right? And as Daniel said, and he's absolutely right, they only look at the numbers when they're sitting there. It's your job to do exactly what Daniel did, and he did exactly what I hoped he'd do. Wait a minute, but that house needs a new roof and needs AC and doesn't have a garage, right?
Do you think those are things that, just a simple highlight would help identify those things? Or do you feel that we really need to go in depth and explain?
No, I think you need to explain them because people aren't going to look at it.
Regardless, you could highlight it.
You did, you found it, but you're a realtor. Had you not been, had I come to your house to sell it, whatever, you'd have seen 3 numbers.
Right. Yeah,
And you would have blacked out that 550 on your left.
yeah.
It's just what you'd have done. Which, by the way, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, on the 550, what is the 12 in parentheses? What does that mean?
Days on market. It's sold in 12 days.
Okay.
I don't know why it's,
The other one.
I don't know why it's sold. I don't know why that is. That's weird.
Or was it?
Let me see if there's something on the bottom that says why. No. All right. But let me tell you something else. Which one of these properties is going to help your client get, if you were to use one of these properties as your suggested comp, which one's going to help them the most to get to price it at the highest price?
Good question.
Which one of these houses, if I said, you know what, I want to use that particular house because it's going to get me the highest, it's going to justify me getting the highest price for my house. Number 3. Nope. We're talking about why you want to get why it would get you the highest price. Why would it get you the highest price? And which one would it be?
Number 1?
Which one of the comps above, comp 1, comp 2, or comp 3, if you used it, would give you the highest subject price for your subject?
Number 1.
Wrong.
Well, it's in the middle.
Oh, you know what? You are correct only because I wasn't looking down. But as far as list prices are going, at 158 to 167, right? See, what do I know here? This one sold for $167 a square foot. Even though it only sold for $550, it's less square footage. Square footage price is the most accurate that we can do. Now, having different beds and baths, which you see here, unfortunately, is going to change your numbers a bit. This is a very complex, this is for an advanced realtor. It's very complex because there's so many things that you can take into consideration. Something else that I'm going to tell you guys is comp 2 is for comparison only. It should not be used as a comp. Why?
Does it need to be proof?
Nope.
It's
Still active.
Nope. It's still active. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Active. That house might sell for $400,000. I don't know. Might sell for 700. Well, I doubt it, but you know what I'm saying? We don't know because it's not sold. But you see, if you look at this, so if I was doing this comp, now again, there are less bedrooms. This has 5 bedrooms. This is 4 bedrooms. Mine only has 3 bedrooms. But what have I learned? This one sold for 168 a square foot. I hit the wrong button, sorry. Or I hit the button, I shouldn't have. This one sold for 167. Now I have less bedrooms, so I might want to take that into consideration, but chances are I'm going to take $167 times $3,767. I don't have a calculator out, and that's going to be the price I'm going to list this house for. Because those numbers are close. I might have to play around though, because I don't have a 3-bedroom comp. There wasn't a 3-bedroom comp, but I'm using a 5-bedroom. But you see, guys, you need to look at all the factors and be able to explain every factor to your clients.
Number 1.
Well, you're gonna use all of them to make your decision. But again, comp 2 is not going to really weigh in other than this is my competition. This is my competition. This is not a solid number. That's who I'm going to be competing with. The other 2 are showing me that's where an appraisal is going to come from, and it's price per square foot. And I know that this house will appraise for 168, probably 170, $171 per square foot. So I'm going to list it for 168. Maybe I'm going to list it for 170 per square foot. How many signed, we're going to change gears here. How many signed listing agreements have you had in the last 30 days? How many do you want to have? 100? Yeah. 1 to 2 is actually not a bad number. It's got it low on here because we have agents that do 5, 6, 10 a month. And that's where we want to get you. But you guys should be minimum doing 1 to 2 a month. I usually teach new agents, when you get this ball rolling, you want to try to get a listing every 2 weeks. That goes back to my original, I was telling you guys in the last class, of 26-week training that we used to tell, or the 26-week training, 26 week, every other week, we would get people to have 26 listings. So every other week you'd get a listing. Some of those, in those days, only half the listings were selling. It was dismal because it was a bad market. It was a horrible market. It was all the days of short sales and foreclosures. Today, if you were to get an inventory, as I said, of 3 or 4 in the market that we're in, you're gonna be making hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? If you could get yourself right now, what you want to do is get yourself on pace right now to build your inventory by 1 house a month. Now, here's the thing. When a house goes on under contract, guess what? You have double the work because you got to replace that one, plus get your other one to get you to that base number. When you get to the base number, let's say it's 5 listings. You want to maintain it. So how many are you getting a month, and how many do you need to get to have a base of listings at all times? Maybe it's you'll have to come up with that number. For right now, you might want to start with a base of 1. That's what I'm saying to you guys, that some of you that are newer. For you guys that have been doing this, you might have 1 to 2 listings at all times, and you say, I want to get to 3 to 5. Well, to get to 3 to 5 doesn't mean I need to get 2 more listings. It means I need to get as many listings plus whatever goes under contract. So if my minimum is 5, and we have 1 heck of a month, and all 5 of my listings go under contract, I shouldn't be dancing on the roof. I should be
Buckling down.
buckling down. I got to get 5 listings to replace these before they get sold.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the mindset of top agents. Top agents think about an inventory. It's like you own a shop and it's Black Friday. If you don't have anything in your store, guess what? You're going to go out of business. It's your busiest shopping day of the year. You want that place packed with merchandise.
And the boom's coming.
Yep.
For the bond market.
Yep. On average, how many of your listing appointments do you need to go on to get a signed listing agreement? If you have taken my powerful listing conversations, most people that take that will close 23 or 24 out of 25 listing appointments. You should be able to, the idiot that goes out closes 3 out of 4. According to the National Association of Realtors, 74% of people only interview 1 agent. So you're walking out with a 75%. If you learn the stuff that I taught you, you should be walking out. Like I said, I've got 2 agents. One has a streak back to 2015 that I know, and one to 2016, where they have not gone on a listing appointment and had not had a signed agreement when they walked out the door. That's very, very attainable, guys. Just learning how to have that right conversation. The natural progression to a signed listing agreement. Ask for the tour. When you're on the tour, remember our REAL. You're building rapport. That's the R. You want to get to know the seller. You want to find out what they're committed to. You want to find out all these things. And that's kind of an engagement. You can find that out too. You want them to like you and you to like them. So you can kind of bring things up. You know, when we talked on the phone, you said you were getting ready to move to and say the area. You want to get there in 6 months. Yes.
Yeah, so they know you're listening.
Yeah. You wanted to get $500,000 at this house. Yes. If you're doing this while you're walking through the house, it's a lot less confrontational than when you're sitting down at a table, especially if you open a book. Then all of a sudden you turn into a salesperson. You don't never want to do that. Allow the seller to dictate the starting point. I actually disagree with this, but on the tour, but you can do this. Up to you. And I have this in this training just because this is one of the things Century 21 teaches some of this. And I took this particular thing from Century 21, but we're going to put our own stuff on it too, talking about top realtors. You always want to, when you walk in their house, go to their kitchen table and set the stuff down. I taught you that already. I don't need to go through that again. But when they go to show the house, if they say, well, let me show you the outside first, that's fine. Go with it. Go with it. Because you want them to feel comfortable. You want to give them a little bit of control while you're going to control the conversation. You want them to know that what did I teach you guys the first day we talked about going to a listing appointment? That it's a conversation. It's two-way. It's a partnership. Convey your marketing strategy. Guys, there is nothing more important after you've built rapport, the R, after you've engaged them, found out where they wanted to go, why they wanted to go, when they wanted to go. that when you get to your 3 A's, the first A being advising them, which is what the A stands for in REAL, you're advising them about yourself and your company. The second A is advising them on your marketing plan. Guys, you should spend 20 minutes on this. As you know, we were talking about before the class. There are some people you might go in, it's a slam dunk, and you do it in less time. There's some people you might be a harder sell and you need to go longer. But you need to have a robust marketing plan that's written out, and you need to use the FEA that I taught you in Powerful Listing Conversations. If you've not taken that class or don't have that, make sure you get that and learn how to do that inside and out so that you can speak to your marketing plan and what makes you different, better, and most importantly, you're going to get their house sold quicker and for top dollar. The third A is advising them on price. So again, for those of you that maybe it's been a little bit since you took Powerful Listing Conversations, first is R. The acronym is REAL, R-E-A-L. R, rapport, when you're walking through the house. E, engage, finding out what they're committed to and getting to like them and whatever else. A, advise, 3 parts to advise. Advising them about yourself and your company. Advising them about the marketing plan, which we just talked about. And now advising them on the price. And L, of course, is to list. But the third A, discussing the pricing. Lay out the prices in front of them. Have each individual one there. Have a sheet like the one we just went over that shows the different things. Yeah, this one, but it needs a new roof, but this one and this. And this one's listed. We can't use it as a comp, but that's going to be our competition. How do we want to go up to the competition? Do we want to be a little lower than them so that people see your house first? You know, and we go through. That's the strategy. And then we come up with a price. Finally, the L, list. We've gone through this, so I'm not going to, I assume, again, you guys are at this level, I don't need to go through how you get the signatures. Of course, that, you know, when you're getting a signature, you always go to the person you have the closest rapport with. Ask a different question to the other person so they're kind of distracted, and then vice versa. Never ask them to sign, never set a pen down. They're the highlights. We'll go, you know, and again, we went through that already with you guys. But get the seller's commitment. Set up an expectation of the relationship and comfort level in the event adjustments need to be made. Oh my God, I got the listing. I'm so excited. No, that's what a rookie realtor does. That's what that person that's just making 100,000 in the first year does. You guys want to be preparing for the fact that you may have to have a conversation with them. Yeah, you know what? We thought this price was right, but it's not. Always sit down and go over what your next steps are going to be. Schedule. Every other week, we're going to get together at Friday, 2 o'clock. Okay. We're going to talk about this. If we find that not a lot of people are coming to the house, we're going to have a conversation about the price. We're going to have to, my marketing plan's proven. I know it works. We might have to tweak something here or there, but we may have to change the price. We may have to this. We may have to that. And if you set up these things ahead of time, that you're going to discuss these hard topics. If one of these hard topics comes up, it's a lot easier than just coming out of the blue saying, "Oh, we need to meet. By the way, we need to drop $20,000 on the price of your house." That's going to go over like a lead balloon. Another spotlight on your business. What is your average day on the market? Is it the same day as everybody else's, or is it better? If it's worse, you might want to shy away from this unless somebody asks. If it is worse, look at the company. Look at your office. Your office probably is going to be better than other offices. Use the office statistic. I want you to ask yourself this. On a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate your impact of your marketing plan? If you're not over where you have a systematic marketing plan in place, where you have everything set up, and the first way you're going to have it set up is by being able to sell it, right? You have to be able to sell it in that second A, where you go through and you say to them, you know, I do this, I do this, I do this, and you explain each of the things, not just a laundry list. I put your house in the MLS. What is the MLS? That was the feature. Let's explain it. The MLS, the multiple listing service, goes worldwide. If your realtors know, blah, 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 blah. It goes out to different websites. Zillow, have you heard of Zillow? Okay, Zillow is the most popular searched website in the world. And because you're going to be in the MLS because of me, you're going to be on Zillow. What's the advantage of being on the MLS? 97% of buyers find their house because of the multiple listing service. Do you see how that's going to get more people to find your house and know it's for sale? Yes. Then I go to the next. Okay. Having those things written out. Now, how am I going to execute these things? Right? When I get a house, what's the first thing I do? Maybe it's schedule an open house and put it on social media. Write your plan out for yourself for your steps. And can anybody answer this? What's the number one thing you want your marketing plan to do?
Sell your brand.
Anybody else?
Get your face out there.
You're on the right track. Number one reason you want this marketing plan out there is for you to get more listings. Get your brand out there. You're right. Mm-hmm. Oh, usually when I ask that question, again, this is a more advanced class. You know what the answer is? Because I want to get the house sold. House is going to sell. And if you're doing the marketing, that's all a kind of a side product. The house is going to sell because you put it in the multiple listing service between us and the walls. Sometimes it does take some creative things and a little bit tougher house. But if a house is priced right and it's in the multiple listing service and we're not in a ridiculously bad market, it's going to sell. We want to take advantage of getting our name out there every which way we can. Right? And this is how we do it. How would you rate your communication with sellers? I told you guys this. I was at this class earlier today, but I told you guys this. Number one complaint I get as a broker, my agent took my listing. I never heard from him again. If before you leave that listing appointment, you schedule a reoccurring meeting and you get home, I don't know if Coldwell Banker people what you call it, but we have a product called the Golden Ruler. It's paid for you guys. It is a beautiful report. If you go in and put the search in, unlike with logo where it says nothing found, put in that same search, Golden Ruler, it will come up. Your listings are in there. You subscribe your clients to it. Every Monday, they're going to get a report of everything going on with their listing. So you schedule whatever you want. I usually suggest every 2 weeks, but you come up with that with your seller and you review everything that's happening. I want you to be able to say that I'm a 5. I'm the best at communicating with my people. I over communicate. I communicate before things may happen, not after.
Communicating is key.
Huge.
100%.
The end game, generating leads while you sell the listing. What were we saying? The number one best thing about having a listing is getting more listings. So now you're going to get to the house ready and get to know the home. And again, the biggest thing you're going to do with this is get it out so more people are going to know how good you are at selling homes. So you sell more homes. So you're going to get to know the home. After you get to know the home, you're going to stage the home. Make sure it looks its best. You can only control what you can control. Some people are pigs. I'll be blunt. Photos. Use a professional photographer. Guys, for the $150 or whatever it is, you're selling a house that you're going to probably make $10,000, $15,000 on.
Right.
Because you know what the biggest part of using a professional photographer is? Telling your next client, I use a professional photographer. Because the guy or gal that was there before, oh, how do you do photos? Oh, I have an iPhone.
Yeah.
Okay, guess what? Some people will pick you just because you use a professional photographer and the other person doesn't. One listing a year. Because of that, well worth paying for the photography, honestly. Get it on the MLS. Create that hot sheet. Guys, when you create a romance paragraph, that's the description, we call it a romance paragraph. What's the best thing you can do? Get ChatGPT to help you. What you want to do? New to the market. Beautiful. Must see. Hurry, this one won't last. How many times have you guys seen a listing and that was in the description? What did I tell you about the house? Oh, that's right. Nothing. Write as many characters as they give you. Get a long listing, long description, romance paragraph.
Yeah, that's description.
And get social. I teach you guys in our video creation class, and I do it in a couple other, about creating the property video. not with the music that we all joke about, but with you doing a narration or having ChatGPT or one of those do it. I don't think ChatGPT does it, but having AI do a narration for you where it sounds like they're there taking you on a tour of this house using the photos and or videos that are provided to you by either photographer and some stuff maybe that you took. Talking about the neighborhood, talking about the town, the neighborhood, and then going into the house, welcome home, and showing it to them that way. What does this do? It shows people, wow, no other realtors have that. They just have this particular house, and it goes it's got the thing like that, and that's their video.
Does our professional guy, he does the drone videos as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So use these things, and again, you're making yourself stand out from the competition. And you're having things, imagine you're sitting down at a listing appointment, you say, well, not only do I use a professional photographer, but I also create a property video that's not one of these cheesy, cheap ones. Don't say what I said last week, but that has this ridiculous music and has a computer voice. But this is an actual tour highlighting the town, your neighborhood, and your house. Guys, you can have this written and done in 20 minutes. And I teach this on Tuesdays, noon, be here. I teach you exactly how to do this. It's very, very simple. Generate leads. We already said this, but market the listing. As you market the listing, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get more people to come to the house. Call agents in your network. I have every agent. You can download these. You can put them in your Moxie. Every time I get a listing, it goes out to every agent. Agents don't check the MLS every day. Jog their mind and remind them that you have this listing. You're probably already getting those from the best realtors. You're not getting all of them. But the best of the best realtors, you're getting emails. Hey, check out this house. Or check out this open house. Or check out whatever. It generates more buyers. But it also, yeah. Create checklists when you're going to communicate with them. How do they like to communicate? Phone, text, email? Establish communication timelines. We already talked about that. Be personal. Be proactive. Always get ahead of issues before they happen. Be professional. And be prepared for market repositioning. Generate leads while you sell the listing. Again, personal, proactive, professional, and being prepared for market repositioning. Just the things we just said. You've got to communicate. Let them know ahead of time. If we accept this offer, just so you know, there's still an inspection period. In the inspection period, they may come back and ask for more money off because your roof's a little bit old or your air conditioning's a little bit old. Make sure you're trying to reach is not available. Happy sellers and closed business. So now you're going to review the signed contract, verify that everything's correct, have the buyer sign, whatever. Communicate facts about the deals to all parties. Again, explain every process that's going to happen. You'll see them here. I don't need to go through these. You guys should all know these. But all the different things that you're going to have to go through between now having the contract signed and closing. What are the common pitfalls? What could happen? And if they know ahead of time, they're prepared for them and nobody's getting blindsided. And that's the most important part of that conversation. Capitalize on offers. 3 things can happen. Seller can accept it, they can counter, or they can reject. The one thing I'll say about this is never reject an offer. Tell your, they came in $100,000 under asking. So what? Send a counter offer for $1 under your offer, right? Or your asking price, or $100 or $1,000. Shows them you're serious. Once in a while, those people just want to see if they can get away with something. They might really want the house and they'll come back. How to manage multiple offers. One thing I'll tell you guys on this is it's not always just about the dollar amount. It can be about when they can close, their ability to close, whether it's a cash, conventional, if it's FHA or VA, guess what? There was a time where I said, there's never going to be a VA ever closed again. And I felt bad for our military guys because who would sell a VA a house when they had a cash buyer? I don't want to go through a VA inspection. VA inspections are the toughest of all of them. FHA inspections can be a pain in the neck too, but VA are the toughest of all of them. There was a time where VA, they were just, you're not buying a house,
Yeah.
Because there's gonna be
bad windows, anything.
anything.
Yeah.
So again, make sure that you explain all the parts to an offer, not just they offered you 10,000 more than everybody else. Handling inspections. Make sure they understand the inspection period before it happens. My God, please. Encourage the seller to do a pre-listing inspection. Some people will do this and share the report with buyers. Show what's already been taken care of. Find out if the sellers have or would be willing to use a home warranty. You can pick up a home warranty. I just picked one up. It was part of the closing thing that went through this. I paid $700 for it. Actually, my client paid $700 for it. Not so bad for like a 5-year policy.
Huh.
Safeguards against a low appraisal. Making sure the CMA is accurate. Go talk to your broker. Get a broker price opinion. Provide the appraiser when asked. You can't go seek them, but most of the times I've had a listing, the appraisers always called me and asked me for how I got that price. Send them the CMA. Show them your comps. It will help. Also, show them that there may be a recent sale that was a distressed property. They may not know that. They don't know the neighborhoods like we do. Yeah, I understand that house was whatever, but it was also a foreclosure or it was a short sale. Let them know that, because now they'll throw that out. It won't be a subject property. The closing. Verify and schedule the closing. Your title company usually does that, but make sure you keep track and communicate changes, if anything, dates, times, whatever. Wiring money. I have on my footer, you'll see a warning. I would tell everyone to copy and paste that warning and put it in your footer. And tell every one of your clients, you do not ever, 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 ever. We were having the conversation earlier today. I had Stewart Title worked in my office. They partnered with me. They paid me for office space for 5, 6, 7 years. And I still got fooled by a Stewart Title. Thank God I went to my IT department. Is this real? Is this legit? Never give any banking information to anyone unless you call a number that you know, or your client calls a number that they know. Hi, we're calling from Stewart Title. We're just getting your routing number and bank account number so we can make your transfer. They somehow know this. They know it's Stewart Title. Okay, let me call you back, and you call the Stewart number that you know. Make sure you tell your clients that. Even if you know that you know that you know that it's the person. All right, questions on today. And before I cut this loose, I'm going to, or before I cut this open for questions, I want to